there is something about leaving the names, almost like on the J. Edgar Hoover building, where like that guy was terrible and what he was doing was awful. But leave it on there because then it's like you go, this is how shitty our leaders were.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that. Yeah. Because so are the leaders now.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm down with losing. I think every school should have its name changed every year.
The Capital One High School. We should do that like we do arenas.
Yeah.
I can't
That's exactly how it should do it. Yeah.
You're right, dude. I can't believe they're not.
It should be
Yes.
Mrs. Fields High School.
Yes. Fifth Third Bank.
Yeah, go to Crypto High, dude.
Yeah.
That's what we should do, make everybody happy.
Yeah, we're the Fighting Gifts.
Yeah. That'd be the only way to really get rid of those names and no one could say anything.
Is change it every couple of years?
And make them sponsored.
Yeah.
It would be funny if it was like Crypto.com presents Robert E. Lee High School.
Yeah.
God
Good to
damn
see
it,
you, man. I haven't seen you since you left for the Comedy Paradise. So were we close to what it was when we talked about it before? About it was like
so when we talked about it before, I didn't know what it was.
Right.
I like rewatched a little bit of that just because I was like, I don't remember what we talked about or how I went into it, but it was pretty good. Like it was I was like, I got a lot out of it. Like I met some really good people. Like what he's got going there is really cool. Like
what does he got going there? Like,
so he has, it's called the Steel City Arts Foundation.
Right.
He has a former church that he bought and like did to make it a performance venue / comedy clubhouse kind of thing, where different comedians in Pittsburgh can come in, use the space. There's like podcast equipment, there's green screens, there's video cameras, there's other support for people that do that. There's like comedians at a lot of different levels. There's some people that like mentor some of the comedians that are there. The thing that it has going for it that I think makes it good is that it's not for, I don't think it's for people who are not self-motivated. Like it's like they're not like, here's all this equipment, let's now hold your hand. It's like, here's all this equipment. Do what you got to do.
Right.
Like, do what you think you need to do.
So is it mostly like artists trying to figure it out, or are there also like people that are sound people or editors and producers that are like, I want to come in here and learn and do this and develop stuff with you? And
yeah, it's artists trying to figure things out. But they are, I think that the cachet of like being connected to an organization like that helps you in connecting with other people in the city that do that type of thing. Right. So like this album that I put out, on the album, one of the things is like a bluegrass song that I had written and had the idea for. And the way I got that recorded was I was going to these bluegrass nights every week, and there's this one band there called the Wolf Tones who are fantastic. And because I think part of it was because I wasn't just some guy being like, hey, I want to record a bluegrass song.
Right.
But being like, hey, I'm from here, I'm doing this residency, I'm putting an album out, and part of it is this thing. Is it okay if I work with you guys to do this? And I think whether it would have happened had I been connected or not, I don't know, but it did feel, for me, approaching them, being connected to something helped me even open the door.
Did you already had you already connected with them because you were going and stuff, and then you brought it up, or would you go, I'm going to ask them, first thing you ask them?
No, I was just going. I just loved the music that they were doing. I think they had like, there's the band is like really, really talented and like really good. And I was just a guy that went a lot. And
so
then
you could just approach bands and be like, you know what, I wrote a song I'd like you to play. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I just asked them if I was like, what could this work? Would you guys want to do this? And they're like, yeah. Do you want to sing it? And I was like, I can.
The singer
I don't want
was
to.
like, wait a minute. You guys are right here.
Well,
I'm standing right here.
It's bluegrass. So there is like a little bit of everyone can sing, even though not everyone can. I definitely had to like do a lot of post-production on my voice to make it work. But they were just like, yeah. They were like, come down to one of our shows and we'll just do it live. And we did it live.
You should write like a bluegrass like beef, like you get with green grass. Is there green grass music?
There is a band. I think, what is it called, Seth? Green Sky Bluegrass or something.
Oh, you just assumed the other
Blue
guy
Sky
from
Green Grass.
Just knows
Of course, I
all-
assumed
yeah.
that. Of course, I assumed that. Do you know it?
No, I don't.
Oh,
It's called Green Grass?
I think it's called Green Grass Blue Sky or something like that, or whatever.
Not familiar.
But yeah, I do think that there is like I don't know what it is.
Were you just like, have you always been a fan of bluegrass, or you just like this band and you're like, this bluegrass is pretty cool?
Honestly, I wasn't always a fan of bluegrass. But I was from West Virginia, so like I've always listened to bluegrass, and like it just at some point you just stop being like it's like I've listened to this my whole life. I kind of like it.
Let me ask you, as a West Virginian, do you get many chances to feel superior and to like when Virginia does dumb shit? Do you know what I'm saying? Does you get some joy out of that?
Fort Sumter?
Yeah. Are you a West Virginia or Virginia guy, Seth?
West Virginia.
Okay, so you're West Virginia also?
Yeah.
Actually, it was a story I just saw about Virginia. They voted to reinstate the Confederate generals and stuff names to their high schools and stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Too. Yeah.
Does that give you like, we're not Virginia? West Virginia, I always think of as lower than Virginia on the mental.
On the mental, no,
Jesus.
finish it. On the mental,
On the mental
go ahead.
scale. On the mental scale. Like I'm saying, I think of West Virginia as more country and more goobery than Virginia.
it's definitely more. Well, parts. There's parts
Yeah.
of Virginia that are pretty much the same as West Virginia.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like when I was growing up, I would definitely thought that we were better than Virginia
For
because
sure,
we
yeah.
seceded.
Okay, so you guys weren't part of the Union.
We
Or you
were
guys
part of the
Union.
we the whole reason West Virginia exists is because it seceded from Virginia because it didn't want to be in the Confederacy.
See, that's what I mean.
That's the whole part.
Yeah, I didn't
I
know-
used to think that, and then the last couple of years, I was like, well,
I
seems
think
like a
of
lot of
West
these people are
Virginia
still
as-
here.
I think of West Virginia as more southern than Virginia, but it's interesting when you say that they were on the other side.
They were on the other side.
Yeah.
They were on the other side.
Because they had their.
I guess I think of it too. I think of it as more only because Virginia has DC and shit.
But that's yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like other than that, the like rural parts of Virginia are not anything better.
I think of DC
Yeah.
is more Maryland than I even did Virginia. But I guess you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It's closer. Yeah.
Actually, I always thought of DC as Virginia. Maryland, I always forget about.
Yeah.
But like I forgot that Maryland borders West Virginia, and it's like
I kind of forget about that.
I
one.
totally forget about that.
Yeah. I'm
Like
just
right near
saying
the,
when
the wrist.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when it comes to Virginia and West Virginia, I always think of West Virginia. I always have thought of West Virginia as lesser. If
I
that
don't
makes
think
sense.
I hate that you keep
you're
using
in the
lesser, but I also
majority.
don't think you're wrong. I understand what you're. I
what I
understand
mean?
what you're describing.
But it's really the superior Virginia. Like I used to have a joke about like West Virginia. Their slogan is almost heaven. Like,
Yeah.
dude, almost. You're not even the best Virginia. Was my joke. But they are the best Virginia.
All you gotta do is change one letter. That's best Virginia.
That's true.
Best Virginia.
That's true. I do think that they're. I mean, I think I like West Virginia, so
Okay.
it's
We're
like
a little biased.
yeah, I think it's better than Virginia, but I think
I hate driving.
no
through
one is
Virginia.
like no one has ever been. I don't think anyone from Virginia has ever been like, no way, you're from Virginia. Like they've never gotten that. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely gotten no way, you're from West Virginia. That
Yeah.
type of thing, where it's like. Virginia, I think, is more accepted.
Yeah, that's
as
what I
like
mean.
I know exactly what you mean, Tom.
But they shouldn't be. Is what I'm saying.
No,
There's a lot of similarity.
There's a lot of
I feel like.
similarity.
And Virginia, I've always, when I was younger, I always thought of Virginia as very uppity.
I always thought of Virginia as uppity too.
Yeah.
I always thought of Virginia as like white picket fencey,
Yeah, they're
and
not
like,
like
very
us.
like suburban and like developed with
Yeah.
strip malls, those fancy strip malls.
Mhm.
Colleges.
Yeah.
Ugly strip malls.
Yeah, colleges. Yeah, Virginia is one of those places where they have an Applebee's and a Chili's.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
like that type of thing.
Not in the town my son lives in Virginia right now.
Oh yeah, where's he live?
Farmville.
Oh, okay.
Going to college there.
Oh, okay. Farmville.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook game.
Yes. Yes. I used to give him crap about
Is that a real college that he's going to?
It's the college is Longwood University, but yes, it's a real. Farmville is a real.
Okay.
place.
All right.
Yes.
I believe you.
Actually, I'm going to come out and I'm going to confess. I hate Virginia.
I'm gonna say, you know what? Now that I think that like that's what I've been dancing around. I do hate Virginia too.
I hate Virginia.
I hate
Fuck
Virginia.
So that's what I'm saying. So do you celebrate when they do dumb shit like that? Like,
I think I do. I do think I do. Yeah, I think I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Look at those guys.
Isn't that weird that they would vote to reinstate the names?
I think it's not unsurprising.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that you go like.
They kind of started the whole thing. So.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
But it's like it's the I think in that article, I mean, and we can speculate. I think that's what the internet's for, is speculating. But that article was because the school board changed it back, right?
Yes, the school board
which
voted
like
to change
totally
two of
makes
the
sense
schools
because
back.
these people are getting on school boards,
Yeah,
they are.
right? There was a big push for that.
People got on school board just to do that.
Yeah.
Probably.
although you know, I've made that argument in the past. I don't know if I've talked about it on here, but that there is something about leaving the names. Almost like on the J. Edgar Hoover building, where like that guy was terrible and what he was doing was awful. But leave it on there because then it's like you go. This is how shitty our leaders were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Because so are the leaders now. They're the same as this. You know?
That's true. Yeah,
You know,
I think that's fair. I think
that would be the only reason I think to keep them.
I was pretty down with losing the statues because I think that that's pretty stupid.
Yeah, because those didn't come up till like the 1900s.
And also, I'm actually, you know what? No, I'm down with losing. I think every school should have its name changed every year.
The Capital One High School. We should do that like we do arenas.
Yeah,
I can't
that's exactly
believe
how
they're
it should do
not.
it. Yeah,
You're right, dude. I can't believe they're not.
It should be
Yes.
Mrs. Fields High School.
Yes. Fifth Third Bank.
Yeah, go to Crypto High, dude.
Yeah.
That's what we should do, make everybody happy.
Yeah, we're the Fighting Gifts.
Yeah.
That'd be the only way to really get rid of those names and no one could say anything.
Is change it every couple of years.
Is change it every couple of years and make them sponsored.
Yeah.
It would be
Stonewall.
funny if it was like Crypto.com presents Robert E. Lee High School.
Yes. So, all right. So back to what you're doing. So you moved to Pitt, and where do you get a bed? Do you get like a room there?
So the program is
Do other people? Are they going to keep? Would you be out here pitching to guys from around here? You should go do this. It's a really
I think that it's a good opportunity. I'm very glad that I got it. I think I got a lot out of it, and I would pitch that people should do it. I would do it with the caveat of like, you should have done things before you go though. Like you should understand what it means to like put a show together. You should understand what it means to like be committed to putting out something every week or like always going to mics, because it's not a place where you get coddled. It's not a place where they like are like, oh my God, you're here and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this for you and we're gonna do this for you. They're like, you're here now, you have a free room here and you can be here and you have all these resources, but now you have to do what you were going to do. So it's like, I remember the first day I got there, I was just like walking around kind of being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then I was like, I guess I just do what I do, which is I sit down, I write, I come up with the next idea. I like go out, I see what I could do with the show. I see what I could do, meet some people, make some connections, see what I could do. But all of it came from like an internal drive.
right.
So it's not a thing where it's not like a school or a factory or something where you go there.
You don't
and
have
then
a final. Okay.
Yeah.
Show us your final
There's
product.
no structure of like this is what we're doing each day.
there's no like a structure that way. It's all from like, you're an artist, you want to be an artist, do the things that you were going to do. Like here you now have time, you have space, you have resources.
Is everybody there digging in, doing it, or some people just like
So there's
caught off guard by the self?
There's 3 at a time of these people who are like residents, like
Right.
the artist residents or whatever. So those people are usually doing it 100% of the time. So I was doing it like 100% of the time. And then there's also a bunch of local Pittsburgh comedians who are part of the foundation who, you know, they have like, it's the same thing. They have jobs and lives and stuff like that. So
Right.
they do what they can. And like this foundation will have like gigs and stuff like that they can throw to them, or things that kind of
Right.
like help them with that. But
the local comics have embraced it, or
I think yes and no. I think that there's like a contingent of people who
course, there's a
embrace
division,
it, and
right?
a contingent of people who are like, what are these new people on the, like, who do they think they are, type of thing.
right.
But that's in any type of situation, any
It's
type
every
of
scene.
scene. Yeah. So it's not like, it's nothing different than anywhere else, but it's also like, I've never met people who have hated change who have moved forward. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you are
That's a great line.
That is good.
Oh, hey.
It's a bar, as the
Cap
kids
that
say.
up.
It really is a bar.
Clip
right?
that up. Let me throw it out there. But yeah, so that's the thing. It's like it's a resource. There's people, if you're out here hating on resources, I don't know what you expect.
So do you dive in, you start figuring out, I just do what I do, blah blah blah, and then you start finding a couple people just like you would in a scene that are you collaborate with. And like, hey, let's do this, and then there's a podcast studio and some cameras and
there's a podcast studio, there's cameras, there's things. So the way that this album came about is I was sitting in the podcast studio just like when everything was empty. There was like no one else there, and my girlfriend had come up to visit, and we were just kind of sitting there, and I was just like, just based on what I was taking in at the time, I was like, this room is one of those types of places where like some band would come in and like lock themselves in the room for like a week and then like come up with an album.
Yeah, I love that. I love the concept of that.
And I was like sitting there, and like as I was doing that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like an artist in residence here. Like I could do that.
This is my get back moment.
Yeah, this is a thing that I could be that person. Like there's no reason for me not to be the person who locks himself in a room for 7 days and then comes up with an album. So that's what I did.
Your album took 7 days to make?
I wrote and recorded it in 7 days.
Oh, wow. There's no way that it's good.
Yeah. That's what I got I'll just do it. I haven't talked to him about it, but EJ.
Yeah.
EJ texted me. He was like,
I really like him, man. As the more I get to know him, I like
EJ a lot. That's the only reason I'm saying this. He texted me, and he was like, I told him about what I was doing, and he was like, man, he's like, this album is really good. Imagine how much better it would be if you spent some time on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thanks, buddy. It's already out.
Yeah.
There are moments in time. That's what you can get super frustrated by your albums making. I used to say that. Me and my editor used to say that when we were making my album, my first couple albums.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd be like, it's better now, blah, blah, blah. And
yeah.
So we just came up with that phrase, like it's a moment in time.
Yeah.
know?
No, that's what it is. That's what it feels like. Like I really liked what I put out. Like I think it was like
I'm kidding, by the way, obviously.
Oh, no. I don't care. If it doesn't, it's one of those things where it's like, that's kind of one of the things it doesn't matter if you liked it or not. Like it's a thing that I liked.
You made it for you.
I made it. It's a thing that I liked. I'm hesitant to say I made it for me because I don't think that that's true. But it is something that like, if I heard, I would be like, that guy rules. I want to find out more about that guy. You know what I mean?
Right. What's the name of the album?
It's called Schmingle Bingle.
Schmingle Bingle.
Yeah. And then I subtitled it A Comedy Album for Everyone.
Okay.
Even though when you listen to it, it's like absolutely not a comedy album for everyone.
Yeah.
But it is like in the sense of like, yeah, listen to it. If you don't like it, we'd never have to talk again. You know what I mean?
Can you describe it to me? Like,
it's not a stand-up album. It's like mostly, it's like a sketch album. I think that's like the easiest way to say it, even though I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a sketch album.
Yeah.
Have you listened to it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a sketch album. So there's like 4 or 5 sketches on it. There's like a bluegrass song, some musical stuff on it. And there's like a through line through it that I have. But it was
ending that music, that the droning thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that. There's like it's not like separate sketches. They are all kind of tied together in a way.
Okay, so there's a theme that runs through.
There's a theme that runs through the whole thing.
What is the theme?
I don't know if
or is it a musical theme that runs
I don't think it's a musical theme. I don't know what. It's just connected. I just wanted to make sure it was connected. Okay. Like I didn't want to put anything on there just to put it on there. I wanted to make sure it had a reason. Everything had a reason to be there, and I think that might be the theme. Is it just that everything has a reason?
It's like a slice of life. Like you're talking about the deli and the bagel.
Yeah.
And then like it kind of ties into the mood you're in for the day, and then it's like the animals in the traffic jam. Like always having that day. It felt like really slice of life.
Oh, I think that's a good way to describe it. I think that is what it is. Like it is like it's very slice of lifey.
Now, did you have stuff like already sort of in your notebook, or did you start with blank page and then make an album in 7 days?
I had 2 things when I walked in. I had the idea of I wanted to do that bluegrass thing because I'd been working on that. So I wanted to do a bluegrass song. And then the only other thing I had when I walked in was I was back here one time. I ran into Dehaj and I was telling him about this album. And I was like, if you have any ideas, let me know. And he shot me the idea. He was like, I think it would be funny if there was a door-to-door doomsday device salesman. And
perfect person for that.
Perfect person for it. And
a door-to-door doomsday device.
Doomsday device salesman.
What would you describe as a doomsday device?
A doomsday device is like one of those devices. It's like I'm shocked that you don't know what a doomsday device is.
Something that ends
You
it
didn't do
all.
your research.
Yeah, it ends it all. It's like people used to talk about nuclear weapons as doomsday devices, where it's like there's a device, you push a button and the whole world ends.
Those are for sale?
As a door-to-door device, as a door-to-door salesman, it'd be pretty funny. So that's how he had the idea for it. And then I walked in and we wrote the whole thing over the phone together. And then he recorded his part, sent me his stuff that week. And then I wrote the rest of the album while I was there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How many tracks didn't make the album? Like, did you record it?
No tracks that I wrote didn't make the album. It's all there. It's 1 week. You had to kind of use everything. There are things that didn't make the album, like jokes and stuff like that didn't make the album.
Yeah.
But like concepts were all there. There's only one thing that I had the idea of that didn't make it, which was doing like a Goodfellas style, what are those called? Trailer parody.
Right.
Yeah.
But make it about like the Joe Rogan crew. And like have them all laughing around and and then the stop Ray Liotta thing would be like, I always wanted to be one of these comedians who could talk about whatever the fuck they wanted to, and it'd be like that type of thing.
Right.
And then just like go through all
You're
of that.
like a Joey Diaz
Yeah,
kind
that
of
type of
character?
thing. Yeah. Just some guy who like really wanted to be in on this little crew. Cause I was watching some clip and they were all just like, yeah, Joe. And it was like a lot of stuff of just like,
I can't think of really a sketch album. Oh, that's not true. I was telling him earlier. Like I remember, when I first started comedy, you hear about Lenny Bruce and and I came across some Lenny Bruce in a Flying J.
Yeah.
Like cassette tapes of Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
And I bought a couple and I was all excited to listen to them. And then they were like sketch albums. And I was like, what the is this?
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever really heard a sketch album before, although Chris Rock had some sketches in one of his albums in between the bits.
Yeah.
And that may be it. And so are there sketch albums that you were inspired by, or you're like, I'm going to make a sketch album?
Now, I don't know that. Yeah, actually I was. Because the way that one of the ways I can describe it is that like it's kind of like an old Monty Python record.
I was
or like
say the way where you said they tied together.
Yeah.
So the end of one sketch leads into the other one.
That's kind of how it works.
Who were the guys that had that in the 90s? That had that's where they were doing this.
Smothers Brothers.
No.
But
With Crow or Cross. David Cross.
Mr. Show.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Show.
Mr. Show.
Is that sort of like it's not a theme that runs through the whole show, but it's like
Yes,
in between the
that
bits
is
that
way
then
closer.
They flow into
that
one
is way
another.
closer. I didn't watch a lot of
Okay.
Mr. Show, so I don't know. But like
Oh,
that is, I think that is probably what the way you're describing it sounds closer to what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, it was like old Monty Python records, Cheech and Chong stuff, like National
that's
Lampoon, stuff like that. That I was
I
thinking.
can't think of anybody that's doing that right now.
That's why I did it.
yeah, it's very 90s feeling.
Yeah, like I was thinking about it, and when I went there, I had like one of the goals that I had was I wanted to come out with like an album, and I didn't want to record a stand-up album just because like I think I'm good at stand-up, but it's not where I want to be stand-up wise. Like I'm not doing the stand-up I want to do yet.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to record a stand-up album if I'm not doing what I want to do.
Out there forever.
Exactly. So I was like, well, what can I do? It's like I do like the writing that I do. I can come up with things that I enjoy writing wise. And I was like, well, then just do something like that.
I like that, man. I like that you're like your one-man show that you were doing. It's like you're just such a creative person that you just take on these things. You remind me a little of Stuart Huff, like the way it's like, and then you just
I liked meeting him.
And then you just put it aside and do another thing. Like what the?
That's what I think that's what I like to do. It's like it's fun to create the thing. It's fun to be working on it. I like in retro, dude, when I like walked out of the studio on that 7th day, I was on some weird high, like a strange, weird like I was like like it's to the point where it's like I was like encouraging people to like try things and like to do things, and it's like you have to do this. Like it felt so that you like wanted to share that and like tell people how good it is to just do it.
Right.
It hadn't come out yet. It was I still had to like mix and master it, but like just like I remember just the feeling of that is the like
accomplished feeling of finishing.
Yeah, and it also, once you feel like you've accomplished something, I also like doing nothing, and like it feels justified to do nothing after you've like had a big accomplishment. You know what I mean? So like, it's just what I like to do. Like it's like
I like to get ice cream after I feel like I made something.
I love getting ice cream after I make something. I like getting ice cream after I make something, and I like getting ice cream on like a big release day. Like so the day that it released, I made sure to like go get ice cream and stuff like that, because it's just like a fun. It feels like youthful.
Now, do you have an ice cream that you like that you go get, or do you just
No, I just go get ice cream. I like.
When you say go get ice cream, do you mean like you go to?
I go to a place.
You go to like a Cold Stone, or you go to an ice cream place, or you go to like...
I go to an ice cream place.
Okay,
I go to an ice cream place.
Grocery store and grab a
Not a grocery store. No, this is like go get a cone situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
waffle cone for sure for me.
This is like go out, try the different flavors, and then get yourself a cone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's and I sometimes look forward to that. I'm like, once this is done, this is ice cream worthy.
Ice cream time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only create so I can eat ice cream. That's what.
Yeah. That's why Biden's president. Same thing. But that's how you know you made something good. It's just like before you got any opinions or anybody saw it, you were just like thrilled.
I was so, dude. I was like, and I remember like talking to people beforehand, like when I was younger, and like them being like really excited about their accomplishments, and me thinking that like, oh, you should be more humble about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I was actually, it's like I felt so good, and I had no interest in being humble about it. Like I was like, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm gonna put something out that I'm like proud of. And so it was like,
I know what you mean. Like, but it's a weird thing. It's like being in a comedy contest, or being in or if you sell merch after a show.
Yeah.
Like you have this accomplishment of how you felt about how it went.
Oh yeah.
And then that somehow over the next few months drifts away or can change based on the response you get from other people.
Yeah.
It's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's stomped on my artistic buzz that
for sure. I mean, luckily the response to this has been positive. So
but either way, that's not
but it was
not really important.
It really like I'm not, it's exactly right. Like I'm not riding this positivity as much as I thought I was going to. Like I'm like very happy that the response has been positive.
Right.
But
well, I look forward to listening to it.
Yeah.
He sent me the audio. He sent me like the play. I don't have Spotify, so he only gave me like the preview.
Yeah.
So I listened to like the start of the
You can listen to it on SoundCloud. It's on free. Yeah. It's free on SoundCloud.
But when I started listening to the full version, I listened to maybe a minute right before you came.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, can you do anything to cut those tracks up and add some video clips to them or whatever that make them, you know what I mean? That'd be interesting to.
You 100% can, and I've like thought about doing it, and it's also like one of those things where it's like it's the same sort of thing where it's like I just like to create and move on, and it's yes, I could do all of those things.
But you're on to the next thing.
But I'm kind of on to the next thing.
It's interesting,
and it's not, and I think that's to my detriment. I 100% think that's to my detriment.
Do you know yet?
The next thing is making videos for those clips.
It kind of is.
I mean, like I like your illustrations.
I'm doing like so. I started doing like a cartoon to promote it, and I kind of like doing this cartoon. It's like this very simple. There's nothing to it, but like, so I'm doing that, and then I'm working on. While I was there, I also like, I've been doing this like animal stories thing for a long time, where I like. Right.
Yeah, we got some of the stickers here.
Yeah, you got some of the stickers here. Yeah, I like write one story. It's kind of like an animal fable. I write one of those every week. I've been doing that for 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. And so when I was there, I came up with an idea to turn that into a book. So I like wrote a full narrative to couch all those stories in as a book. So I'm working on that right now.
Dude. I was like, what is your, you just, it just feels very accomplished to me as an artist.
You know what, man? As I'm
really
saying
cool.
it, I feel accomplished, but it's also like
you have a lightness to you that you didn't have before. You look less dark.
Dude, that's because there's like a lot of shit going on that's like very dark.
And
right
so
now.
So it makes you light.
I think it's like, dude, this is the first time things like this have actually felt like an escape to me. Like because like there's this like family stuff going on with me and with my girlfriend and stuff like that. That's like tough. Right. But like this is the first time that like comedy and like working on these things actually feel like an escape rather than like you better do it. You got nothing else. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's unfortunate, but I think that, that's probably what it is.
Did you find going to do this that you're like, okay, this is it? Because it sounds like it in like your spirit or whatever, like this is what you're supposed to be doing. Do you feel that from
dude.
after that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I definitely, this thing, I would credit the Steel City, the SCAF, Steel City Arts Foundation thing with helping me realize that, where it's like, yeah, no, this is what I want to do. Not only do I want to do it, like it showed me a confidence I didn't know I had.
Now, are you going to take that whole mentality to here and being around here and working here, or are you going back?
Yeah, no, I like it here. Right. I like it here, and I think one of the things that, and I'll say it 1,000 times, one of the things that I really liked about Pittsburgh is it showed me how good it is here. Like, and it's not that Pittsburgh doesn't have good comedians, but it's a bigger city.
Right.
And the fact that we have so many good comedians in such a small city. And I think the other key to it is that we've all been doing comedy together for 10 years. That doesn't happen in most places. Most people leave.
Right.
No one here, the people who are still here
gets successful and moves on.
No one is leaving. But like, it's not because they're not funny.
Right.
It's just because we're not going to.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I maybe 5 years ago, I went again to New York. You go to New York and it's like I'll hook you up with a spot at the cabin and this and that. You do these sort of shows that are supposed to be the shows.
Yeah.
And then I spent like a week there doing shows, and then I was like, what am I doing? Oh, sure, it's a fun show, but it's a bunch of people open micing in a basement of a club. It's the same thing that's everywhere.
It's just shows in front of people.
What are we doing?
Like I understand.
It's not a great show. Yeah. It's just a regular show.
Yeah. I always think of what JD said. He's like, you left your grandmama to come do this.
But there is, but there is some, that's funny.
Yeah, I've been very dismissive of like big cities for a long time.
But there is something to being out there. And there's a quality that's like of people that they're chasing this with everything.
Yeah.
That pushes you to be better. But you're right. We've talked about this before. Something about this area.
There's something about the area. Group. I think it's that there is no industry. So there's no real danger of anyone becoming successful here.
Right.
And because there's no danger of anyone becoming successful here, everyone who is, and I'll again to emphasize, who is really funny, stays and they try new things a lot.
Right.
And we're all trying new things all the time.
What Jenny's doing over there lately, it's different than what was before you left even. Like the mixing the improv with the stand-up and then doing one-liner. I'm so jealous that I'm working all the time and I'm not around to dive in and just do it because it feels like a training ground where everybody, you guys are all, and when I come back after not being here for a month or whatever, and I come back and I go to a show, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
look at Neil,
popping.
Look at Neil, like bam, or look at Seth is like now he's more comfortable on stage. With
look
his
who just became a crusher after seeing him do.
And it's because of all these, and it's 3 minutes at a time here and 3 minutes. Just something about the different ways of working the muscles and doing improv and doing this and all. It's there. You're right. There's a different level.
Yeah, and it's like a big enough scene that there's people who are fans of different types of comedy, and but because the people who do the comedy here are such big comedy fans in general, it's like the ability to be like, I see what you were trying to do there, but it didn't work out, or like try something without any fear of like, what the fuck is this guy even doing? Like, especially after being around for a long enough time that people know who you are, you have chances to experiment, you have chances to fail, and you're not going to be like, extradited, or you're not going to be like excluded from the community because people know you've proven at least that you're funny, at least that you know what this is about.
How to do it,
Now try something different. Now do something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
She's been doing the parodioke ones. Like,
what is that?
Write parody songs. And I'm not like a parody song guy. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So it kind of like forced me to write that way. And it's been a lot of fun. Like those shows have been a blast. And I did not expect to like that kind of stuff like early on. So
yeah, I think that's like what the difference is between a small scene here that like has that many people that like still is a scene. Like it's not like there's enough people for it to be a scene.
Right.
But like even people who like start out here and like are not good for a while, as long as they stick around, people are generally supportive.
Right.
You know,
almost
like,
too supportive.
I would sometimes too supportive.
Yeah.
I'll give you sometimes too supportive.
A couple things. When I was driving in, I'll get back to this. The healthcare thing I want to talk to you about. But I was thinking along the, but back to like this. But as far as creativity, like I'm excited too. I've had like a month. I was like at a peak where I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm better than ever at comedy out there.
Yeah.
You know? And then I hit this wall where it's like all of a sudden pages aren't getting filled in the book and the shows are just okay. And it's like, oh, what is happening again? But that's just the path and now I don't know how I haven't done this in the past, but I'm super excited about like the 2 weeks I'm getting ready to go do. 'Cause I'm just going to take 5 minutes out of my show. And if I have to pull out a piece of paper, I'm gonna work on developing these 5-minute sets.
Yeah.
within my show, and then once I get that 5 minutes tight, put it into one of the shows and then start again. And I'm just gonna.
So you're taking out a chunk of every show and being like, this is the 5 minutes.
This is the 5 minutes where I'm playing around.
Dude,
I'm gonna talk.
Cool.
I'm gonna figure out a way to talk to the crowd about that.
Yeah.
So and I'm like, how have I not thought of this in 25 years of doing comedy?
That's great.
Where it's like, I just hope I create new bits, and I do over time.
Yeah.
But to be specific, like, all right, I'm starting with this 1 minute or 2 minutes, whatever it is, and I'm building this into a 5-minute chunk, and then. And now I'm excited because I know I can do it. And so I'm excited.
100%. Figuring out that you know you can do it is like the hardest part. Like I was, because I was thinking about it in terms of like open mics and stuff like that, where it's like I'll sometimes go and I'll try out a new bit and it'll work great, and that's fantastic. I love that it worked out great. But then I am afraid to ever say anything I've never said before on a show. You know what I mean? But like. What's the other thing good about here is like the open mics have real audience. It's like these are real people who just listened to that thing I made up and laughed. Why am I so afraid of doing that in my show? Doing that at a show, you know, I'm capable of doing it. I've done it before.
Because but it's like a feeling like you have on stage of like, I mean, I have hours of material.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm on stage and I'm like, all right, I got it. Like, I have a feeling sometimes like at any time I can lose them and be that, you know? Yeah. And then I'm going to, the show's over, you know? But
that's comforting to know that never goes away, it seems.
Well, that's...
Yeah, it does. And then, but I have enough material that I realize somehow it's occurred to me. It's not like I have trouble building material. Over time I have a lot, but I have never done it like that. Like okay, I can afford to stop.
Yeah.
And work on crowd work on whatever, and do that, and then get back to the jokes that I know work.
Yeah, no, that's
you know. Because I was talking to the other comic that I was working with on this last ship, and he was sort of complaining about having to be out there, and it's like you can't get any work done, and you can't get. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just like the road. Like back in the day, L.A. and New York be like, oh, you're a road comic, and it's like, well. Maybe. I mean, but if I learn how to kill in Johnson City and like Goldsboro, like all the small, I'm obviously not doing great. But you can use the road to get better.
Exactly.
And I was like this. I was having that conversation with him about this. I'm like, we can use out here to continue to be comedians and grow. You know.
Yeah.
There is some limitations on what you can say and which material to write.
Yeah.
Still, if you're writing, you can figure out.
The whole point is just writing.
Yeah.
Like I was one of the guys that I was with while I was there is a comedian from Zimbabwe, and
they have comedy in Zimbabwe.
They do, yeah. This is so directly related to what you were saying.
It's a human condition.
Yeah, so exactly. He's very good, very funny. But he was talking about how in Zimbabwe, when you start comedy, you're a comedian. Like if you say you're a comedian, they throw you out on stage in front of 200, 300 people or whatever it is, and you do comedy for your first time in front of them. and then you grow from that. So you have to learn real quick. And he was like, I was talking to him and I was like, we were talking about a new joke that he was going to try. And he was like headlining, I honestly think he might've been headlining the Pittsburgh Improv. And it was his first time doing it. And we were talking about a joke and he's like, I'll try it tonight. And I was like, you're going to try that joke tonight, headlining at the Improv for the first time? And he goes, that's the only way I learned. I learned by trying for the first time. So like, if this goes bad, I also know that I have things to make it go better. Like, he's like, of course I'll try it. Because if I try it, it's like, it's fresh, it's new. It like, that's what's the energy. That's where his energy comes from.
I always have a hard time saving the material I want to try.
Yes.
To into the act.
I think that might be the discipline.
I feel
it's to
like
not
I
do
gotta
it first.
I usually always had to open with it. Yeah, I still do. It's like, I got to get this joke out, you know? Very rarely is like, like at the 20-minute mark, I'm going to try this new line.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm sort of deciding to do.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, and I think it's like, and what, from an artist perspective, like the basic concept of it is that you are just trying to reduce aspects of fear in your performance.
Microdosing fear.
That's what it is, right? Like, it's like the reason you don't do it is purely boils down to fear, right? It's either fear that it's not going to work. It's fear that you're going to lose them. It's fear that they're going to see you, like the ship is going to see you bomb and then you're not going to be able to work again. It's all fear based.
Right.
But like the core of what it is you are a funny person and you've proven that for years, you know? This one moment is going to throw everything out for you because for 5 minutes in a set, it didn't work out.
Yeah, but it's like, you know,
it's scary.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
But you have
I do
to
the
get
same
over
thing
it.
here where it's like I go on stage and all of a sudden I have nothing to say. And it's like, I could not be a worse comedian sometimes at these open mics. And then I walk and then it's like, I come off stage and it's not easy to dismiss.
Yeah.
It's like, what
I feel
the
like
fuck
you
is
walk
the
back
matter
into
with
the
you,
booth.
Tom? I walk in the booth and I'm funnier for the 5 minutes making fun of all you guys on stage.
Dude. That's the thing. I mean, that's like, I think that's like the condition though. That's like that's the fucking thing that we have to, everyone deals with all the time as a comedian is that like, that's why I don't think I'm doing the stand-up I want to do is because I genuinely think I'm funnier off stage than on right now.
Really?
Yeah. I feel funnier off stage, like when I'm hanging out or
are you
talking
more
to people.
yourself out off stage then?
I think I'm way more
stage?
myself off stage. And I don't know, I think it's like whatever conditioning made me feel like I needed to hide that while I was on stage because it wasn't enough or because people aren't going to want to listen to me or for anything like that. That's what I'm fighting before I want to record any stand-up to put out is that like, if I can't get rid of that, nothing I'm saying is meaningful. Like nothing I'm saying is anything that I'm not walking out of any stand-up set I've ever done feeling the same way I do when I put that album out. You know, I've never felt that way. Really? I love stand-up. I love when it goes well. I want to be good at it. And I want to but I want to be good at it in the way that I should be good at it. Not the way that like I think stand-up comedy should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the only way you know is how you.
Exactly. Like I want to walk out feeling as good as I did when I put that album out. And
Did you feel that good when you built your show?
I did. Okay. I felt good when I built that show. I felt good when that show was done. There's a lot of things that I felt good about after I'm done with them. And I've been doing stand-up the longest out of anything, and I don't think I've ever gotten there.
Right. Well, I've been doing stand-up for 25 plus years, and yeah, stop it. There's not a lot of feeling good about it.
No, I mean, yeah. This starts getting a little too.
Here and there, you're like, oh, I'm great at comedy again.
No,
you know what I mean?
Good.
And then you got
that's
6
fair.
weeks of like, what is the matter with me? I'm going to be fired tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Maybe it's because whenever you're making shows like that, like you said earlier, it's like I don't care if someone didn't like it, we'll just never talk again. It's kind of harder to do that with comedy.
Yeah, no, but
like you can't walk off after a bomb and be like, well,
I don't care. Yeah, no, that's very true. I care the most out of anything if they don't like it. Yeah, no, I think that's true. I think there is like I do care. I think that might be why that's why that thing never goes away of like, I can't lose them or I can't do this because you care. Whereas like when you're creating other things, you can not, you know what I mean? Like you cannot care what other people think other than you, but that just doesn't work.
Who would you bounce the sketches off before would you be calling your friends and working on the sketches with them? Or were you going from like, from like mind to page to there, and then you're done?
It was definitely mind to page to there. It wasn't done though. So like I would write out a bunch of ideas. I would think about a bunch of things. I would, there were some people like they knew that I was doing this, and people would like stop by, and I would like talk to them, bounce ideas off of them. But like I also remember while
so
I was,
cool. It's like I love.
It was really fun, man. It was really fun, and I like want to do it again. It was really really fun. I've gotten used to the idea that you can't, like, I can't be like, I'm going to rock myself into the room 7 days again and do the same thing like that. It just doesn't work that way. But like,
but you've opened up that muscle for sketch writing.
I would love to do
so now
another
I'd feel
album.
like your notebook would start to be
100%. Yeah.
So the next time you'd be like, oh, I got 20 ideas already in my
100%.
book.
Yeah. That's like, I've got like, and I think that like the danger right now is I have a lot of ideas going, but I also think because I want to do another album, my brain is like kind of like reaching for ideas. It's like, that could work, that could work, that could work. And then I'd like try it and it wouldn't work. And then I'd be like, fuck, now I'm stuck with trying to use this idea that's not working. But I do want to do another one. And yeah, I was like in a weird manic creative state, and like people would just come in and I would just start like fucking firebombing them with ideas of things that I'm doing, and like they were very nice, and like a couple people came in. Some of them are on the album. Some people have jokes that they riffed with me that got on that album. Yeah, it was just like it was a really fun process, but like I forgot where this question was, and now I'm just
It was just
stammering.
about writing sketches. And like,
Yeah, it was just about, and it was like it was fun. I enjoyed it. Like it was like I didn't know what it was going to be when I walked in or how it was going to turn out. I had nothing for the first 2 days. Like literally, I'd written nothing. I was just sitting there, and nothing happened at all. I was like, I remember I was talking to.
Now I got 5 days. This is the worst thing ever.
And so I had 5 days. I remember I was like, literally, comedians would come in, and I would just stand around them and be like, I knew I used to be able to be funny with people like you before. Am I just like, is this where it ends? Is this where I reached too close to the sun, where I was like, I can do this, and then it's like, nope. And now you're gonna have to go be a lawyer or something like that.
I gotta sell cars now.
Yeah, but it ended up being, it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I think it definitely, the way that it came out, has like kind of pushed me forward into wanting to do other things.
So is it on Spotify and on iTunes?
It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. It's on SoundCloud. It's anywhere that you stream. It's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess can you put it on the screen so that people can go look it up?
Well, now I have to, since you said it. But yes.
Yeah,
I was gonna do that
I'm
anyway.
with Tom though. Put it on the screen so people can look it up.
Yeah.
I was going to do that anyway.
I knew you would, but I don't know why. Because I was going to have you say where and what's the name of the album again?
Schmingle Bingle.
Were there other titles? Or
No.
How did you hit on Schmingle Bingle?
I was I had finished writing and recording. I came and I was working on a cover, and that was the first one I wrote, and nothing else worked after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep.
All right. I like it. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this one up, and we'll do another one. All right, you know what I'm saying? I want to, but I appreciate you coming in for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, are you when you went to leave? Was it like sad that you're like, oh, I'm disconnecting from this, or
yes.
do you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad, and it was sad, and there was plans. I was like planning to go back fairly often and do things, but like again, like just life situations got in the way. So
once you clear those up,
once those kind of settle down, hopefully I can. I do want to go back, but I loved it there. I thought it was really great. Like it was a great thing for me. Like I really enjoyed it.
We're glad to have you back here, though.
Yeah, I am excited to be back too. Like it's like it made you appreciate what was here, and also made me feel like there's more I could do.
Yeah, let's develop a segment for this thing that we do regularly.
Yeah, I'm down. We can figure it out.
Some sort of comedy segment that we do if it's
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll do it next episode.
Okay.